Hello class, it's Dr. Stutzman here. I just wanted to connect with you and give you some more information on your final assignment. The annotated bibliographies, there's a few of you who had questions, so I wrote down some notes and some things that I wanted to share with you. I'm actually in my office at work here at Eastern. Just give you a really quick tour since no one is really ever going to probably visit my office. Alright, anyway, we'll get started here, and I have a few things, like I said, I would like to share with you, but most of those things are actually already written down on Blackboard, which I believe Dr. Weinstein, or another professor who actually created this course and the curriculum behind it, they already have everything established. They already have a sample annotated bibliography for you. But again, I'm just going to kind of walk through some of the main things that you're going to want to remember, just in case you miss that information when you're kind of reading the assignment. So the point of the annotated bibliography is really to, well, it's for yourself in this class. It's so that you can remember the valuable information that you learned from your different readings. You'll be able to then have a cheat sheet to go back and find research. If you're ever doing a research paper in another class, you'll have your bibliography, and you'll be able to go back and say, hey, this is information that I want to use for another paper. This is the source. This is some basic intro. This is a little bit about the author, etc. So as you're thinking about this assignment, hopefully you'll be able to use some of the things that you've researched in the future. And it's also not a bad idea whenever you're doing research papers, if there's a certain topic that's in your mind that you want to study in a master's degree eventually, or if you're going to get your doctorate like myself. I did my dissertation on leadership, and actually I would have loved to have had my own annotated bibliography for my dissertation. It would have been really easy if I had taken all the classes that I ever took in leadership for my doctorate and actually wrote down annotated bibliographies for each reading that I did. It would have been a lot easier to go back then and find the information that I needed when I wrote my final dissertation. A lot of places actually make you do that for your dissertation. My dissertation was a little bit different. I changed things up. So in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have been able to use some of the things that I read. But I think you get the point why Wilmington is having you do this, because it can be a valuable source to you later, but then also to make sure that you actually read the assignments and that you can kind of summarize. That's really what it is. It's you summarizing and noting important information that you read so that you can go back to it at a later time. So that this annotated bibliography is due Sunday night, midnight, on during weeks, I think it's week 7, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, due week 7. So you have a little bit of time left to kind of get caught up if you haven't already. There is a handout that you can see. It kind of looks like this. And there's a link to the handout. I was going to open up week 7 for you ahead of time, but it's the exact same assignment that's on week 1 that's there. So that handout is actually on week 1. It kind of gives you some general guidelines. This is the guideline page. And then it gives you an example of some things of what it should look like when you're actually finishing this. All right, so let's go through a couple things that I want to point out. First of all, the annotated bibliographies are supposed to be short. It's not like you're writing a whole book summary or cliff notes on each article that you read. So again, to clarify, you're only doing your annotated bibliography on the areas where it says readings each week, not where it says additional videos, but where it says every article that's under the reading section. So look at the reading section. I'll go through here and look quickly. Let's look at week 1. It says OD, Past, Present, and Future, Theories and Models of Organizational Change, 20th edition of the Organization Change and Development Competency Effort, and then Things Fall Apart, which is finally due week 6, so you're going to finish reading that over the next couple weeks. So right there you have 4 different assignments, or 4 different areas where you're going to be writing towards your annotated bibliography. Let's go to week 2. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 on there for week 2. Week 3, there's only 2. Week 4, there are 2 readings. Week 5, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 readings. Week 6, there are 2 readings. And week 7, there are 2 readings. So all in all, it's not going to be a ton of extra work for you to get through all of those readings. But the point is, you actually have to have read those articles to do this assignment well and to get full credit. Because I'll be able to tell if you just like read the intro and read the end of the article and then just tried to do your annotated bibliography. It's not going to work. So again, like I said, keep them short. It is a summary, but it's not a giant summary. You're going to be doing between 100 and 200 words is what we're looking for. So anywhere between 100 and 200 words. And a couple other pointers that I wanted to write is make sure that you have enough information in there that is going to lead people where they need to go if they want to research more. Because the point of only writing between 100 and 200 words is, again, to keep it short, but you, in that 100 to 200 words, you want to have enough information so that if another person wants to use this annotated bibliography and research more on that topic that you're writing about, they'll know how to find the information. And so if you go to week 1, you're going to see that there's 5 different main points of information that you should have. It says this is the information that you should include the most, if not all, of the following categories. So if for some reason you can't fit in one of these categories, that's not the end of the world, but you're going to be aiming to try to get all of these categories mentioned within your 200 words. It's going to be tough, but you can do it. So we have the author, information, and purpose. So there's going to be a listing of, this is the author and this is the purpose behind why the article was written. What are some of the methods used or sources of the information? So what is their research that they've gathered? What's the author's conclusion? Kind of what is, again, when you're writing a summary of a movie that you wrote, that you watched, or a book that you read, you probably want to end, well, not all the time because you don't always want to give the ending out, but when you're writing the summary, or giving a summary to a friend and you're telling them what finally happened at the end of the book, the end of the movie, you're going to want to make sure, like, what was the main gist of what this author was trying to get across? What was the conclusion? That's really, really important. And then number 4 here, they have justification for the conclusion. So most of the time when you're reading things, there's some research behind what you're reading, and it's usually good if there's research. And so maybe there was research or a survey, or there was other things that they read that kind of helped them form this specific conclusion. So you don't want to just put the conclusion, but you want to kind of give some support of why they concluded the way that they did. And then number 5 here says relationship to other works. Briefly state how this work relates to other works in the bibliography or the field as a whole. So this is where you're kind of connecting it specifically to organizational development. You can write, does this conflict with another viewpoint, or does this support another view of somebody else's work that was cited earlier or cited later? So this is kind of your connections relationship view here. So in the example, they don't have all of those things stated. Don't worry about that. Again, this is just an example, and they were trying to do something really quickly so that they can give you kind of an idea of what the format looks like. Yours is going to be a little bit more in depth than what their example is if you're actually following this annotated bibliography guideline. So hopefully you're still with me. I wanted to see what some other notes that I have here. Something else to remember is that, again, like I said, keep it short because people will know that they can go find and read this article on their own. You don't want to give them everything. You want to give them enough to get them interested, to know what the subject matter is, know what the connections are, and then they can, if they think that this is the right book for them to read, or this is the information that they want, then they'll actually go and read it for themselves. You're going to want to make sure that it's unbiased, and that was mentioned also in week 1 and in week 7. It also talks about it again. This is not a place for you to share if you agree or disagree with what the author is saying. You want to keep it very straightforward and give more information instead of just saying this is my opinion. Again, think academic work. Usually in academic work it's more research oriented instead of just writing your thoughts and opinions. I think that's about, I mean, it's a very straightforward assignment. Like I said, make it very informative. Follow those 5 different guidelines that I talked about before. When you're writing, your style should look like this. You probably should have a cover page because this is APA, so you're going to have a cover page. Mine would be Dr. Nate Stutzman, and then I would write the course number, my professor, and then I would write Annotated Bibliography Project with a date. And then I would have my bibliography in the next couple of pages. Again, yours is going to be a little bit longer than this if you're going to answer a lot of the questions that we discussed. And then you just need to remember that we have this bibliography of the bibliography at the end. So don't forget that. I know you're already writing all the different readings that you have on here, but don't forget your reference page. And everything that you're doing for this class, I've actually noticed a lot of you have been forgetting your references. In your discussion board, you should be having references. On your papers, you should be having references. When you do your PowerPoint your online presentation with Powtoon, you should be having references. Anytime that you're taking people's information, you should be referencing that information, especially if you're making it your own. So here we have just a general reference page. This should be done in APA format. I will be checking for that. So you're going to have a list again of all the readings that were done at the end of your paper. If anyone has any specific questions related to the assignment, please let me know. For those of you who understood the assignment, I'm probably not telling you anything more than you already know. For those of you who maybe didn't understand it based on what you read, hopefully I've been able to put some of those pieces together for you and explain it in an easier to understand way. Again, everything is here that you need to know. It's not a rocket science. This assignment isn't for rocket scientists. Like you guys can do it. It's really, really simple. Really, again, let's break it down. You have to make sure that you read every assignment first. That's the biggest thing. When you're reading the assignments, you're taking notes of maybe these are some main points. This is kind of where the summary is. This is where the author is going. This is his research material and the rationale of why he came up with his points. And you're going to jot that down, and then you're going to reference that article, and then you're going to give your summary based on what I just mentioned previously. And then lastly, you're going to write your whole reference page of each of those individual readings that you did. And you're going to cite those in APA standard. So for some of you, again, this might be a new type of assignment. It's I believe it's very, very easy and straightforward. The only thing that's time consuming is really the actual reading part. So while you're reading, again, underline things, write some notes down, and hopefully you can put your best foot forward when you do this assignment. It is worth a lot of points, so definitely take it seriously. And again, if you have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. Look forward to getting ready for week 5, and I will be doing another video, again, giving you an introduction on some of the theories for week 5 so that it will help you with your presentation that you're hopefully starting to work on now. hopefully you have a good rest of the day, a wonderful weekend. I mean, looking out my windows here, it looks like a beautiful day, so I can't wait to get done with work and get home, hang out with my family, do some yard work, and then get back to the computer tonight and grade some more papers. I probably will be around tonight too. If you want to chat on Blackboard chat or even Cultra or however you want to do that, just send me an email and we'll try to get something connected for today or later this weekend. Blessings.